Hello everybody, this is Debo with Debo's Movie Reviews here, and this week's review will be Grease Lightning, directed by Michael Schultz, starring Richard Pryor as Wendell Scott, Pam Grier as his wife Mary, with Cleavon Little as Pee-wee, Beau Bridges as Hutch, Richie Havens as Woodrow, who was Wendell's mechanic, alongside Little's Pee-wee as who was played Scott's childhood friend and manager and all and such. And of course you got Earl Hindman as Bo Wells, who was somewhat based on Buck Baker, who was also a Hall of Famer in NASCAR, alongside, and Hindman was also known for playing Wilson from Home Improvement, which this movie and Home Improvement is the only two things I know him for. And you got Vincent Gardenia as Sheriff Cotton, and I've already mentioned it, Beau Bridges as Hutch. And I gotta say something with Beau Bridges in that movie. It definitely stand out to how both Bridges brothers happened to play NASCAR drivers in movies. Though Beau Bridges was a straight up fictional version, while Jeff Bridges in Last American Hero was just a fictionalized account on Junior Johnson, which I recommend you watch my video on that if you want to know more about Junior Johnson. And of course, with Beau Bridges in this movie as the straight up fictional Hutch. I'd say great acting chemistry between all the cast, and very fitting biopic though a lot of it's not 100% accurate, but the things they did get right was that with Scott being a World War II veteran, a taxi driver by day, moonshiner by night before he went racing, and lived in Danville, Virginia, and his number being 34. About the few things they got right. And of course, he really did have a wife named Mary. And I should also mention R.I.P. to Wendell Jr., to any member of the Scott family watching this. And what a lot they didn't get wrong was a lot of accuracy on the whole deal with Wendell's win, where in the movie he lost to Beau Wells on a short track, while in real life, December of '63, he lost. He won a race, but had but they credited Buck Baker for the win. And funny story, the win got protested by Baker's own wife. And you know how being the '60s and civil rights and all that kind of explains a lot, but that's just say that's among what's historically accurate and what's inaccurate. Like how when they showed the asphalt tracks, they showed movie, they don't show like one at the beginning that wasn't a bunch of clips. Like how they did the big one at Talladega in '73, which to the real Wendell was his retirement crash. Well, in the movie version just got back up again, built up either it was a Ford Torino or a Mercury Cyclone for one big race on a asphalt oval. Because in the movie they only really showed that right at the end for asphalt tracks alongside a bunch of clips of old NASCAR races from like the late '60s to the early '70s. where in the movie was just mostly shine runs and dirt track. I mean, just a lot of badass dirt track action, kind of like how once he gets knocked out of the track and then gets back on, and then one where the fictionalized the cake on Wendell's official winning the controversy that around that. Although although that although back then they did race dirt tracks back at NASCAR, and they only just quit going back to doing that in Cup with last year with Bristol, and of course with the Truck Series having a couple of dirt tracks nowadays too. But back then that was about as mainstream in road courses. And in the movie, the race was depicted as like in the 50s, and Wendell driving a 55 Chevy against Bud Wells in another car from that era, to where Wells, I've already mentioned, was based on Buck Baker, who was a two-time champion, while Wendell was a struggling independent throughout his career. And I could say if they're going to make it now, they ought to do it a little bit more accurately. Like how his relationship with other NASCAR legends were. Because we all know the Petties and got along with him, and Buck Baker kind of, that was where Bud Wells was, and kind of glad that, one hand, I'm kind of glad for back then they didn't just name him, fictionalized him to where, in terms of separate prowess as a driver to what a guy might have been as a person. Kind of like how they, kind of like in the Earnhardt movie where they portrayed Darrell Waltrip as an asshole. Which, yeah. But back to Grease Lightning. I'll say, a lot of excellent racing action and shine runs. Even one at the beginning where, one part where it had to, when it got the bug to run shine after picking up his client on his taxi run, and he chases the other another black moonshiner down named Slick or Slack. I always get them mixed, but and then he hangs out with his buddy Wendell and his buddy Pee Wee, kind of just build up and all. I mean, definite badass 40 Ford action. I mean, talking about them. Talking about they could not catch him until they did like this Easter scene where Wendell's doing a run in his taxi, and he's going out for a chase throughout Main Street and all, and until he got into that roadblock, which, of course, led to his career as a race car driver. And I give it a lot. Very excellent action scenes and an excellent take on civil rights and other events of the post-war America, which I give about a 4 out of 5 recommendation. And I'm only kind of saying 4 because of the obvious historical inaccuracies that, as a movie buff and a NASCAR fan, I kind of tend to can't overlook. Which, surprisingly, they ought to do more racing movies. I mean, got too many damn football movies. About time they do some more biopics on other drivers, like a remake of Grease Lightning. This time, Anthony Mackie would have been a good choice. I would say if Chadwick Boseman was still alive, he would be a perfect candidate. But yeah, like I say, excellent performances all around. Excellent performance by Pam Grier, Pryor, and I should also mention some cameos where civil rights icons Julian Bond and Maynard Jackson as a minister, which is surprising for the fact that Wendell Scott lived in Danville, Virginia, and Maynard Jackson was known as the first African American mayor of Atlanta. And of course, excellent action. And I say, and of course, with Richard Haven's performances as Woodrow, kind of great song and his great performance alongside his song "All Come True," which played throughout the movie, which, in my opinion, was the best Haven song that besides "Freedom" and "Here Comes the Sun," which was a Beatles cover. And funny fact, it was also written by Melvin Van Peebles, who almost would have directed it, but I'm not sure why. And this was also the first movie Pryor did where he got top billing for. But overall, about I give this a 4 out of 5. I mean, it's great racing action, perfect balance of comedy and drama. And just great acting. All right, y'all, that'll do me for this week. I hope y'all liked the review. Check out the movie for yourself. Tell me what you think of it, and I'll keep dishing out the reviews.